everyone. Yes, indeed, it's the VIP Sunday. Oh, yes, and we've got a new member. Welcome to the madness, Bella. I hope you don't regret it. I really hope you don't. Hit the thumbs up, folks. Hit the share. And of course, it's members only chat today. So if you want to be able to say your piece, interact with all of these great people, all you got to do is do what Bella did and become a member. Yes, please. There we go, there we go. I bet you thought I was going to make you listen to that full song again, didn't you? Just admit it, you thought that's what I was going to do to y'all. But I'm back, we're live, and yes, I like the Sundays. It's the VIP Sunday stream, and this is where you really do get just the real Kev Baker. Just me chilling out, relaxing, with people I consider good friends and family right here on the channel. And I always open up these VIP streams by thanking all of you out there, all of you who have taken a risk on yours truly. And it is a risk. You know, some of the topics we get into here, not very algorithm friendly, but you've gone that extra yard for me. And that's why I want to thank each and every one of you for doing so, not just on behalf of me, but the family as well. So that's why I'm really enjoying doing all of these extra hours of streaming these days. I think we've got something pretty cool going on. And to mark that today, and we've got a new member coming in. Wow, I think, yes, we do. It's Mama Shaibul. Yes, she is upgrading. We've got various tiers of memberships. I'll show you what I'm talking about, okay? And then we'll get into some good stuff. I've got some crazy cats. I've got some Bigfoot. We've got some Anunnaki. We've got the multiverse. We've got lots to get into, but it's VIP Sunday, so I've got my slippers on, and I'm going to be coming into the chat a lot more than I usually do during the Safe Space stream. So let me just head on over and show you how you become a member, because everyone can still watch this stream. It's absolutely nothing changes there. It's only the chat room that changes. And of course, when you become a member, obviously, thank you, first up, and then you get access to all of our cool emojis. And as you can see down the bottom, we are just 5 new members away from unlocking the next crazy emoji. I really like it, I really do. So if you want to do that, what you do is you head on over to the Kev Baker Show channel. And on there, if you're on the PC, I'm not too sure how it looks on the iPhone or the Android, but if you click this on the PC, it's dead simple. It takes you here to 3 different options. Now, every option opens up exactly the same emojis, There's no staggered kind of benefits, anything like that. The reason I done it was because I can appreciate that maybe not everyone could afford the £5 that it was set at. And for that reason, I put it down to the very lowest setting. There's a £2 option there. There's a £4.99 regular option. And for anyone who decides that they really do want to go even further, if they can, it's not necessary at all, but some people like to. Then there's the premium membership as well. Now, I don't want to start adding different emojis for different memberships, because that way it's almost as if there's some people who are more important than others. And I certainly don't look at it that way. All of the members here are appreciated, and I'm so grateful equally to all of you. Sure, it's absolutely fantastic, and in an ideal world, we would all go for the premium option, but it's not an ideal world, and I get that. So I just want you all to know that I really, really do appreciate everything that you're doing here for the channel. And I hope that over the course of many, many streams to come, you know, that I'll be able to repay that faith in you. And listen, I'm going to tell you right now, even as members, there's going to be times when you disagree with me. And even I'm going to disagree with you. But that's the way the world works, and that's how we keep it real. To become a member isn't to buy Kev Baker's kind of favour, or I'm just going to all of a sudden agree with everything you say. Not at all. You still get pretty much the same Kev Baker, only you get this Sunday stream, and over time there'll be more stuff to add to this as well. I'm just getting an email in there. I always panic when I get an email when I'm on like the live stream, because it could be YouTube getting in touch about anything. Absolutely anything. So yeah, folks, there you go. And one last time today before we get into it, if you want to support the stream still, you already are if you're here in the chat room. But if you want to put a live chat, there's stickers in the chat room as well. And we've got the PayPal link in the description. And that's it. We're going to get right into it now. So I'll shove some music on, as I typically do. And I'll take a look through who's in the chat room, shall we? We'll see who's in there. We'll name and shame all you people in the chat room. That's what we'll do. So yeah, and look at me. I'm totally, the hair's not even all properly done. Beard's starting to come back, ladies. I know there was a lot of you asking for it. I'm not just being some crazy narcissist. There was people in the chat room asking for it. So I was just pointing that out there. Okay, so then let's get to said chat room, shall we? We'll go back here just now. We have got the one, the only Jason. We've got Lisa in there. Armand. Cricket. Kristen is back. Oh, isn't this a great day? VIP stream. The daddy, yes. The godmother of the chat room is back as well. Yes, normal balance has been resumed in there. And it's great to see you back, Cricket. A.K.A. Kristen. And it's a bit like when Just a Guy goes AWOL. Kristen's one of these people that you automatically think, where's she gone? So it's great to see you back, Crazy Cricket. Yes, Crazy with a K. That's what we'll call you. We have got CJ in there. We've got Greg. Great to see both of you. Brassneck. Fantastic. Armand. Armand was talking about dreams in the chat room earlier on. Now, I didn't take any notes at the time because I was hurriedly trying to get ready, and there was issues on the back end today, folks. Not my backside, the back end of YouTube. There was issues. And yeah, we'll need to see what Armand was talking about, because with it being a more relaxed, more interactive stream, we can take our time and we can deal with things like that. I myself, I'm not some dream whisperer, not expert on dreams at all, but they fascinate me. And I don't think really anyone, even in the scientific world, has fully explained just what dreaming is all about. And then, of course, we're going to be joined by our Australian friends soon, Mammoth Hunter and her husband. Both of them qualified archaeologists and down from down under. And they're going to be joining us soon on the show as well. But I know when it comes to the Australian Aboriginals, they talk a lot about the dream time and going on journeys and in dream time, thing like that. I find it a really, really fascinating subject. It's right up there with consciousness itself. And what is consciousness? Well, we could do about a bajillion streams and maybe still come no closer to the answer, because when it comes to consciousness, I don't think we have got the nous, the processing power up here to fully understand and explain and put into words just what's going on there. It's just something out with our ability to comprehend. Sure, we can come close to describing it and approximating it and talking about it, but does that really bring us any closer to understanding what it truly is? I don't think so. But our dreams, a lot can be learnt from the dreams, I think. And then at times as well, I think dreams can be just that. Just neurons firing off when you're in repetitive eye sleep. Yes. I'm starting to waffle now, so we'll get the tunes on. I'll get back into the chat room. Right, there we go. Tunes are on. No white hats today. Nothing like that. No. So we scrolling up. We've got Warren there. Queen Goddess. Edward. Susie, great to see you, Susie. And of course, Bella. Yes, Bella. Latest member of the family. In fact, no, we've had somebody new now. No, Mama Shaibul upgraded. That's what it was. Thank you, Mama. We have Lulu in there. Great to see you. Neil. Neil, you've been kicking about this channel for a good while, brother. I've seen your name. I remember your name. Sure of it. Lisa Rue, we've done that one. Jeffrey. Fantastic to see you as well. Bravo Whiskey, BW. Big hello to you. Roxy made it on time today. She was just cruising around YouTube and there it was. Like a beacon in the darkness. And anyone noticed how YouTube have changed like the front page recently? It's all bigger pictures, bigger thumbnails now. Do you like it? We're creatures of habit. Takes some getting used to. That's all I'm going to say. We also have in the VIP lounge today, the dude. He's looking cool in that hat. Brother, I want your hat. That is like a cool hat. And I hope you got your invite into the Discord server, dude. Sorry that you had to wait a couple of days for that. Let's see now. Brian, good to see you back as well. Yep. About to read out the Kev Baker show there, but that'll be me then. Yep. Showing you how stupid I am at times. Let's see, scrolling on up. Now we're above when it was member only chat. Don't know if these people are still here, but we had Mermaid. Who else? Pat Studio. Good to see you, Pat. Sidvich is listening away from the computer right now. And I'll tell you why he's away from the computer. Because he's playing this game here. Yeah, Death Stranding. Sid is a very, very avid gamer indeed. And this is what he's into right now. I don't want to play too much of it because you know they'll probably copyright me. Even though it's like a brilliant advert for their game. But yeah, it's Daryl. It's Daryl out of The Walking Dead. He's one of the main character actors in it. That's how lifelike games are getting nowadays, folks. And Sid says this is like such a different gaming experience. And he's listening to us. So from Scotland to Norway, my friend, a big shout out to you. And yes, I certainly can't wait to get a shot of that game. But folks, what we're going to do now is, if I've missed anyone out, plenty time for us to get back to that. How about a little bit of song and dance to play us in, like to get us in the mood today? Because you all know I'm very proudly Scottish, right? Very, very proudly Scottish. All Scottish people are. And we tend to think that things are a little bit different up here from the rest of the UK. And I'm sure the Welsh people think that about Wales. And I'm sure the Northern Irish people think that about over there as well. But, you know, there's people, and I don't really know how to perfectly set this up because it's a genius song, an absolutely genius song. And if you look down in England right now, nothing against my English viewers, English listeners, anything like that. Because when I lived in England, they were some of the nicest people I came across. And some of them were some of the dumbest as well. But you get that everywhere, right? But when I think of England, what I typically think of is the government, is the royal family, stuff like that, the establishment. And it makes my blood boil and it makes my skin crawl. And you know what? It's not just people outside of England that actually think that way. Oh, no, no, no. Because get a load of this. Some of them are actually fleeing the country. And where are they going? Well, they're coming up here with me. Why? Because we're bat crap crazy.
I can't hide my grief and my sheer disbelief at what's become of the land where I live. We're shit out of luck and I got no more fucks left to give. The loonies and races took over the place. It's no longer the country I know. Gotta hide from the storm, so I'm wrapping up warm, 'cause I know just where I gotta go. I'm moving to Scotland, where there's cold and dark and rain. I'm moving to Scotland, but it's relatively sane. The English have gone mental, there's no future in it all. I wanna get up north before they build the bloody wall. I'm moving to Scotland, to save my mental health. I'm moving to Scotland, I'm gonna extradite myself, declare independence, and this time get it right, and leave the English there to sort out their own shite. I'm being unfair, not everybody down there south of the border is being a clown. Just the ones in the power, the thoughtful ones are shouted down. And it isn't just me getting sick of the feeling that the monkeys are running the zoo. So brace yourself, Scots, 'cause there's gonna be lots coming through. We're moving to Scotland. Can we claim asylum, please? We're moving to Scotland. All the non-crazy refugees, we're practicing the accent. We'll integrate, I swear. You'll hardly even know that we were there. We're moving to Scotland, where reason still prevails. We're moving to Scotland. There is no room for us in Wales. Your diet might be scary and your weather may be bad, but at least you're not completely fucking mad.
But we are.
While the English piss away all that they had.
Yeah, bit of a different way to start today's VIP stream. And that was brought to us courtesy of the magnificent Welsh lady herself. Yes, somebody else that's staunchly proud of her Celtic roots. Susie, thank you for that. I put a massive smile on my face earlier on when I listened to it today. It really, really did. And I know, I'm sure, unfortunately, it's going to trigger some people, right? But you get it, folks. When people, like, speak badly about the English and about England, I think 99% of the time, it's not your run-of-the-mill people like you or I. We're talking about the establishment. You know, the memories of the empire, they're still in there somewhere. You know, I tell you what, yeah, the blood starts to boil. I was even showing Scotty Lopez, one of my... Imagine this, I'm about to say something you never thought you'd hear me saying. My favourite politician. Oh, Kev's got a politician that he likes. Not AOC. Not his. George Galloway. Now, if you haven't seen George Galloway, I mean, where have you been hiding? This is the guy that went over to the US Senate and ripped them a new one when they tried to accuse him of doing deals with Saddam Hussein and things like that. And that in itself is a timeless clip. It's one of the few honest politicians that you see. And he's not perfect, but George, another one, staunchly Scottish, and he absolutely hates the royal family. And Scotty Lopez, we were watching a clip of him last night, and he says, Kev, you know, he reminds me of you. Even when he's talking about the royals, you can see how angry it's making him, his hands shake, and you can see his eyes changing. And I didn't really appreciate it, but I suppose I do. I'm a bit of a shapeshifter when I talk about them, right? Because it does It changes everything about me. But Susie, thank you. Thank you for that song, all right? Because I don't know, adding music to the stream, it's great. I don't know if that cat's copyrighted that or not. I'll happily take a third party strike for that. Worth it, right? Some like violations are definitely worth it. And I hope that put you all in a little good mood today because there's so much crap going on in the world and you don't need me to add to that. And if anything, I'd like to think that when we come here, we can park our crap at the door, just at the kind of entrance to the safe space. And we know we're comfortably in the knowledge that it's still going to be there when we leave, right? So when we get together, we should really try and have some fun. Yeah, there's a time for important and serious. I always get that. And because of the approach that I take, comedy, serious, science, it's hard to really define what this is all about, if it's even a show. You know, the whole Kev Baker show experience. And from time to time, unfortunately, I think it will probably cost us when it comes to getting some of the bigger guests in. You know, the likes of maybe the George Galloways, things like that. I had Lee Stranahan on not long ago, and he's a really, really great investigative journalist, and he had no qualms about coming on. But I can imagine some people out there when I approach them, they're going to go onto YouTube, they're going to look for Kev Baker's show, and they're going to see some of the crazy stuff that we get up to here. And I don't mind that. I don't mind it, but I know how people are. They're going to judge it on face value and think he's back crap crazy. That this guy's like the new David Icke, and they're going to be talking about like David Icke back in the day when he was getting ridiculed. That's okay, but I'm sure over time we'll find that nice little balance between the serious, the fun, the woo, and of course we all love the woo. And yes, I've got some woo for us today. Don't worry about that. There's always woo kicking around, and I'll get some of your woo as well. So, because it's the VIP stream here, this is why I talk more openly about what the show is, where it's going. And I get it, everyone can watch this, but I think you deserve your input when it comes to almost this critiquing of what we're doing here. Because like I say, you people that have gone this extra yard, and I get it, there's people on PayPal as well, and there's people on Patreon, and equally anyone that's donated anything, absolutely fantastic. But it's another way that I can almost let you be more of a part of the show. And I've explained before about guest suggestions. I'm totally open to that, as long as you appreciate that I've got to feel it in the gut, or it's got to coincide with a pattern that I'm seeing. I can't just randomly go into something cold. I don't feel enthusiastic about it that way, and that comes across in the interviews. I know that because I've gone back and listened to shows that I just kind of randomly done. And it's because of listening to Clyde Lewis and my friendship with Ryan Gable and stuff like that. I've really started going along that, following the pattern, following your gut. And that's why from time to time we get into this kind of groove where we have a laugh when we look at the ridiculous. But it's because we're sitting waiting, we're waiting to pick up on that next kind of theme. Remember how the shadow people really came in and took over for a while? And it was the traffic cones. And I'm watching for it right now. Something's building. I can tell we're just maybe days away from our next kind of themed set of shows. And what dictates the themes is the universe. It's the programming that's around us that puts these things in our consciousness. And then Kev starts to see patterns that sometimes exist, sometimes they don't. And of course, some of the stuff that we go into, some of the avenues that we take, some of the rabbit holes that open up before us, I know I will lose some of the audience. And then we'll attract new members to the stream that are into that new topic, this new line we're going into. And you see, that's how really the channel, it's in a state of balance. We need something really big to blow us up again and take us over that 100,000 subs. But you know what, folks? I'm confident. This full year, we've kind of sat at about 91,000 subs on here. And because some of the dead accounts, some of the bot accounts, some of the inactive accounts, they've been stripped off all users, not just me. It's almost as if the sub count's been slowly going down, but it's starting to even out now. And with that evening out, I think comes time for that next big push. So last week on the show, the main show, you might have noticed there was no big guests lined up, no regular guests. And that too, a part of this kind of waiting stage that we're in. Now, I've got Ben Emlyn Jones coming on next week. I've got Charlie Robinson. He's coming on soon as well. Brendan Drackler's coming back. But I'm now starting to look for new guests because I'm starting to look for that new pattern, that new thing that we're going to be getting into. It won't be here today on the Safe Space stream, but it's just to let you know that there's going to be something around the corner. Now, I'm not telling you like some of these fear merchants out there that there's something big coming. There's always something big coming. It's inevitable, right? As soon as something big comes along, see, it was coming. But I just think there's going to be something exciting with the stream. We're going to pick up on something, or we're going to get some guest from somewhere that's going to totally catch you off guard. You're going to be like, wow, where did that come from? And then, dang, look at how it connects into everything else. You may suspect I've got a little idea going on in the back of my mind. It's forming, and it helps me to talk like this and kind of think about it. So that's where we are with the show right now. And of course, we have the safe spaces every day, and that will always remain the same. There's always going to be our dumb criminals on there. There's always going to be woo. There's always going to be me getting triggered by the gender Olympics that's going on all around us. I've got absolutely nothing like that for us today, folks. I have had a trigger-free day. It's been great. I haven't got angry at anything once, not yet. No doubt I'll see a headline on our travels that'll get me. But yeah, so with that said, let's get into something equally kind of funny-ish, cute, and yeah, KBS is going full kittens. What's happened? Kev Baker's talking about cats. Well, I've got a cat and I've seen this story today, right? And this really, really got me. And I don't know if what you'll make of this story as well. Part of me wants to go and help the cat. Part of me wants to fall around laughing. And I don't know, I think you'll just laugh at this as well. But an animal shelter has had to put a cat in solitary confinement for repeatedly letting other cats out. Check this thing out, right? Where is it? Oh, please tell me it's going to play. Hang on. There it is, folks. Right, here's the cat here, the cat in question. Check this out. Look at him. Poor cat's desperate to get out. They've had to lock the cat away because the cat's a bit of a revolutionary. Yeah, the cat's a bit of a kind of a, could you call it a cat terrorist? I don't know. Because a cat named Quality has been sentenced to solitary confinement for continually letting out cats, letting cats out of their enclosures at his shelter after multiple warnings to curb the problem. The serial offender, I never thought I'd ever describe the cat as a serial offender, any cat. The serial offender was caught by staff at Friends for Life Animal Rescue and Adoption Organisation jailbreaking other felines out of their senior room repeatedly, several times a day. He's like a cactivist. Is he a cat activist? What is he? He's not a cat burglar. If he was, he might be able to get out, Anne, right? I don't know. Anne's just here, by the way. I'm not like talking to somebody fictional. That would be really weird. If there was just like nobody here and I was pretending to talk to her. Laugh or something, Anne. Show us your hand. There it is. So it says Quality also has a checkered past of consistent offending. Other staff at the shelter in Houston discovered he used to let his dog sibling into the house at his old home. So this cat's got like some kind of form for like opening doors and like letting people in and out. It must have issues. I bet somebody kept it in a box when it was like small or something. After an online campaign was launched to #FreeQuality, the shelter said that his review with the parole board had failed, but he released himself anyway before being returned to solitary. I'm not shitting you, folks. Had a parole board hearing for a cat. What timeline are we on here? It says the shelter said Quality will not be contained. He just has no shame. Quality loves to let cats out of the senior room repeatedly, several times a day. We have since quality-proofed the cat room. While he took a brief hiatus in the lobby, we have got an incoming. Jamie Wernitt, thank you very, 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 very much. And you're about to have a bit of a... There he is. Do. I'm going to change the do. We need something new. We need something KBS themed. Maybe a traffic cone, a dancing cone, something like that. Yeah.
Quality.
Oh, it's quality. Oh, can we just call him quality now? And you know I'm terrible at reading. You didn't have to, like... Did you just spell shame me? Did you, like, dyslexia shame me on air? Damn, that's cold, girl. That's cold. Yeah, so Quilty, right now I've been shamed. Loves to let cats out of the senior room. We had that. So you've totally killed this story for me now. I'm going to put you in confinement. We have since Quilty proofed. It doesn't even sound right now. It's better with quality. Yeah. His roommates missed him while he was banished to the lobby. They enjoyed their nighttime escapades around the shelter. The staff, however, did not miss the morning cat wrangling, so we'll just have to agree to disagree there. Look at that. What a gorgeous cat, but doesn't it just have that look of, yep, it's going to cause trouble. I'm a cat guy. Deal with it, folks. I think it's a funny story. But yeah, parole board, at least they've accepted defeat and they know he's a cat with no shame. I thought it was funny. But we're going to stick with animals, or more to the point, cryptids, after this little break that we take in a moment. Because yes, this thing, a cat, one thing. And this is a very special cat. Let's face it. I want to give it some KBS type award. And I think it's the Houston here, not in like Houston, Texas. What are you laughing at? I know I'm so serious. Of course I'm serious about the cat bit special. What award would you give the cat? I don't bloody know something that a cat wants. A fish? I give her a fish. You've come home today and decided I'm just going to pull the piss out of Kev. People in the chat room, make the most of this. Have at it, you know. You throw in tips if you want. It looks like it's Abuse Kev Day today. All I said was, we'll give the cat an award. I didn't get all serious about it. I don't really think we're going to give the cat an award. Oh, shut up, man. So what's Lothar saying? Lothar? Yep, exactly. Hashtag free the pussy. Exactly what I said as well. But anyway, no. Listen. Like I say, I'm going for a brief hiatus here just now. Like it said in the article there. I'm going to go on time out. I'm going to confine myself. I'm going to have a quick drink of coffee. I'm going to work out why Anne's come home and just... She's actually... Look, she's given me cat biscuits. I know I was talking about George Galloway, and George Galloway's most famous clip is, would you like me to be the cat? Brr. But I'm not a cat.
That award for the wee cat.
Oh, for him? For quality? Oh, folks, it's going to be one of these streams. Anne's on it. What can you say? Dang, dude, dang. So, yes, we're moving from cats to cryptids. Oh, yes, indeed. And this story, it takes a bit of a twist, and I'll explain why when we get there in just a moment. Lisa, I thought you were my friend. Lisa says you're to slap me with a fish, but little does Lisa know Anne is scared of fish. Most people are scared of spiders or something. No, Anne is scared of fish. Yeah, I can out you as well, Anne. Yes, so do I, Kristen. I think we might have to make that our first KBS t-shirt. Dang, dude. And then we'll have brown chicken, brown cow on the back of it. Oh, yes, indeedy, Lothar. Kev Baker's dating tip number 205. If wife feeling frisky during show, turn the show off. Priorities, Lothar. Priorities. You know I'm going to be here tomorrow. Do you know that will be there tomorrow? Yeah, I get a little bit crazy on Sundays. Like I say, I really look forward to the Sunday stream. I do. I don't know why it's a different atmosphere. It shouldn't be. But it is. I just get a little bit silly. And of course, Anne says it's because she's here. It's that little bit different. You know, nothing like being a narcissist. But yes, indeedy. Now we've got Frisky. I thought somebody was shouting Freaky Friday there. I was going to say you missed that. We're a couple of days late, but yes, indeedy. So Lothar may or may not still be with us. Yes, we don't know. But I tell you what, we're going to now get into some really, really good stuff. I think it's really good stuff anyway, because we were talking about that crazy cat before the break. What a character. Cat Richter? Bad one, I know. But now we're going to stay on animals, only the more kind of woo-associated animals. And we're going to go to the Bigfoot. Now, the Bigfoot, the Sasquatch, the Skunk Ape, the Yeti, the Yowie, the Wild Man, goes by many, many different names. And over time, various pieces of footage emerged that claim to have caught something akin to what has been described by many, many eyewitnesses all over the ages, okay? And we've had a new piece of footage come to light, and that's what we're going to take a look at today. But for me, this takes a weirder twist. And I want you, if you can, to think back to the show that myself and my good friend Brent done on the Halloween special right here on KBS, on TFR Live and YouTube, and some of the cryptids that we were talking about that night. Because this story starts off about a Bigfoot, but for me, it's not about a Bigfoot. It's definitely not a Bigfoot. It's even something more interesting than that. Check this out, folks. And this comes from the Daily Star over here in the UK. Real Bigfoot creature runs in front of camera in horror close encounter clip. Now, I've watched the video. It's very shaky, and as I'll show you here, you can't really see too much going on, right? Until that there. Now, I don't want to play any more of it because I know that this video has been snapped up by a viral company, okay? It's what happens. And they, anytime they get the content match that somebody's played it, they'll claim the ads and they'll try and strike your video. Not worth it, because contained in the article is still images of the bit we need to see and the bit that kind of shifts the angle of the story, right? So we come down here, it says a video has emerged capturing a creature running in front of the camera at night. The mythical Bigfoot, sometimes called Sasquatch, is said to be hairy, upright walking, ape-like creature. Their existence has never been officially acknowledged, but conspiracy theorists have often posted videos of supposed sightings of them. That's a bit unfair. I think people that post videos of Bigfoot or anything that might be Bigfoot are just that. They're just people. You don't have to be a conspiracy theorist for you to have some kind of encounter, some kind of experience where you may or may not have experienced the Bigfoot. But of course, it's the mainstream. They like to get their little bit in there. They like to make fun of anything that's out of the ordinary, that goes against their kind of normalcy bias. It must be conspiracy. And we know what that makes us think, right? Or at least the general public. But it says the footage captured by a pair of school children begins with them walking in the dark. As they shine the light on the ground, leaves and debris is seen scattered all over. And one of the two asks, "What is that?" after appearing to hear a noise. Now he shushes the other one as he looks around, hoping to see what he believes is an animal. And this is what you see. Look at that. That's what they caught on camera. Now, I don't know about you folks, but for me, that's no Sasquatch. That just ain't a Sasquatch. But I tell you what it might be. It might be that. The rake. It looks more rake-like than Sasquatch-like. And that's if it's anything at all. And I'm quite open to the whole pareidolia thing here, because that still image in itself, our brain interprets the shape there. It looks head-like. Looks almost like an arm there too. Looks almost like a shoulder. There's a line where a mouth should be. There's almost a bit dark where an eye should be. But again, in the end of the day, that could be light hitting off some bush, some trees. Or is it? So I'll get your thoughts on this one. Is it a rake? Is it a Sasquatch? It says the sound of the bushes rustling and the leaves being disturbed grows louder as though it was nearing in. A creature appearing to be a large dog then darts out in front of the camera. Well, I don't know what dog looks like that. Dog man? The children let out a blood-curdling scream before racing away. Earlier on in the day, the boy claims to have seen a creature lurking near his school. Now, in a bid to locate and capture the animal on camera, he went back at night. And YouTube conspiracist Disclose Scream, the Grim Reaper, what a name, uploaded the clip only days ago, captioning it, "Real Bigfoot, Dogman, creature caught close up on camera." He said you can see the movement of the jaw, the fingernails, the muscle tone under the fur. And the fear in the kid's voice when he encounters the creature is a legitimate cry for help. So this one there's a noise. We'll see what the noise of the Bigfoot. I think we've played this before. And unfortunately, it takes so long for these damn videos to play when you press play. So we'll see if we can get it. Continues to say here, I have a gut feeling. Here we go. Yeah, I've tried playing that before and there's absolutely zero sound on it. So it says some 2,000 people have since watched the clip. One person said you can actually see a glint of red in its eyes. Not all believed it was real footage, however. One said there's too many cuts for this to be real. I mean, right before the thing pops out of the darkness, there's a cut where he's not there 1 second, then visible the next. It had me for a moment, though. And that's one of the things that when it comes to any video footage, folks, I'm the first to point out the fact that we can't really trust anything. And I don't know if this has been faked up. I am a bit suspicious, I'll be honest with you. I'm a bit dubious when that character there says there's been cuts in the film. We would need to go to the YouTube channel, download it, get it into After Effects, and then have somebody that knows what they're looking at. Because again, I'm not a big one on Adobe Premiere or Adobe After Effects, but you can tell when things have been faked up. Photoshop, I'm better at the Photoshop, but when it comes to the moving images, Scotty Lopez, he's good at that as well. But either way, I still think, and I'll have to pull up pictures of the dog man here. The dog man. Let's see, images. This is all going to be about a movie, isn't it? So I take, just like it says, it's like a werewolf, right? See, I don't get the dog man vibe from that. Let's go to the chat room. Let's see what you people in the chat room are saying. Let's see, and I'll put some tunes on in the background. Yes. Some oogie, spooky, woogie, spooky woo. I've lost the plot, folks. So what are people saying? Catman! I like myself a bit of Catwoman, Neil. I do indeed. Mothman, man. Mothman! Love that clip. Let's see. You only find Bigfoot when you're not looking. They'll find you. Absolutely true. That's the way it feels. It does feel that way at times, right? And it was like Clyde Lewis, his famous story. I've told it before, but he talks about when he went looking for the Bigfoot, spent the weekend looking for it, nothing. Went for a cup of coffee the day before he was going home. Sat there having his cup of coffee. Something out the corner of his eye. Turns round, Bigfoot. Didn't even have a chance to catch it or nothing. So that actually makes some sense. Lothar, I think the Freemasons made UFOs, not Bigfoot. Maybe they belong to the Illuminati. Maybe they are. Maybe they're like Illuminati time travelers, and to fool us, they wear giant costumes that look like the Bigfoot. I don't know. Edward says, I'm glad that went with foot for its name. Manor says, yes, I hear you there. May have to check it out. Most of those shows don't have very much right, other than trying to scare the piss out of you. I don't know what show they're talking about, but I agree with that. Definitely made the triangle black UFOs, said Thomas. Cricket says, Crazy Cricket says, I want to go Bigfoot hunting. You can't call it that. You have to call it by its real name, Crazy Cricket. Squatching. You have to go squatching. That's what people do. They go squatching. Come on. You got to get with the nomenclature of the topic you're dealing with here, you know? Carol says it looks like Iron Man. Good shout. Good shout. Absolutely, man. Tony Stark lives. Oh, Anne and the wee man will be so happy if Tony Stark lives, I'm telling you. Yeah, they're into the Marvel universe. Big time. Big time. Not knocking it. It's just a little bit too woke for me these days. Don't do it. Don't do it, Kev. Don't get into that. So, Jamie, our newest member, if I remember rightly, he's talking about... I think he was answering somebody. Sorry. A dinosaur head? Very much. Half man, half dinosaur. And if you're really bad at maths, it could be half man, half dinosaur, half Bigfoot. I wonder, he said, hey, surprise. That'd be so weird though, right? You're walking through the woods, right? And something like this jumps out at you. And it says, hey, hey, hey. I don't know. How do you get the pictures? Or how do you get my pictures, says Lisa. That's terrible. Armand, the Grim Reaper, PPP. Yes, I'll be taking a little break for that in a moment, Armand. And we're still going to talk about your dreams, Armand, if you don't mind jumping onto the Kev Baker couch. It's not the casting couch, you absolute perverts out there. I'm not going to tamper with Armand. I'm just going to lie him on the couch and let him talk to us about his dream. That's all. Thomas says he's taking a squatch. Squatch. Sasquatch sounds like going to the bathroom. I tell you what, that's sometimes the noise I make after a good chili or a curry. Sasquatch. On mobile, that pics look like a winner's smile. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if my logical debunking side says probably fake. But I wasn't there. I don't know. And even if it is fake, I think most of us in here, we may not agree on all of the cryptids that are out there, but I think we can all agree that there's more to reality than we know about. And if that's the case, then I think we at least have to keep our mind open to cryptids, be it Sasquatches, be it the Chupacabras, be it the Dogman, the Mothman, or anything else that's been reported over time. And we're going to be taking another look at the Shadow Men later on with Scott and Joe. And get this, folks. Get this. You talk about going full paranormal woo later on tonight. I have got a story and information about serial killing goblins that are taking Africa by storm. Yep. Serial killing goblins. I know. Sounds ridiculous, right? But when you get into it later on, and we will get into it later on, you'll see maybe not quite as ridiculous as we first thought. But I'll explain that later. So yeah, come into the chat room again, see if there's any more in there. Let me brew the tea, says Armand, and he's got lying the couch. Maybe we could get Armand to call in. Armand, maybe you could call in on Skype. Maybe I could call you on Skype, and you can tell us about your dream. Well, maybe that might be a good idea. And then saves me, like, reading the chat room. Just get Armand to tell you all. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, then. Jason's having to shoot away. Jason, much love, son, brother, son. I think we're the same age. I think you might even be older. I had an experience in a local ancient woodland in England and was perhaps a Sasquatch. Even more so when I came across the wood structures in the same wood. Right. That's interesting. Hang on now. British Bigfoot wild men. You see, in the UK, we've got the wild man or wild men. That's what we call them over here. I'm just trying to find something here that might relate to something interesting. And Armand's going to turn his Skype on. Yep, I'll get to you in a minute, Army. Just you, I'll get there soon. You just chill out, get your tea made or whatever, brother. No rush. Don't worry about it. I'll get you. Just having a look here. Nick Redfern actually writes a book about the wild man in the UK. And the book's called, funnily enough, Wild Man. The monstrous and mysterious saga of the British Bigfoot. And it says, in search of a British beast. Here we go, pull it up there. A British man-beast. Oh, I like that. A British man-beast. It sounds like the English version of Al Gore. The huge forests in the United States are home to the Sasquatch. The abominable snowman roams the Himalayas. And Australia has a similar beast called the Yowie. In China, there lurks a giant bipedal creature called the Yeren. And from the Caucasus Mountains in Eurasia, stories of Almas circulate. And there's the highly controversial matter of Bigfoot in Britain. For years, Nick Redfern has been on the trail of this mystifying monster of the British kind, one that provokes fear, amazement, and controversy when it rears its horrific, hairy head. The Shug Monkey, the Beast of Bolam, the Grey Man, the Monkey Man, or the Man Monkey, and the Wild Man of Orford are just a few of its many names. I find it quite fascinating. You need to move your mic to give us that really creepy sound. No, if I start moving the mic, you mean the door creaking? We don't want the door creaking. Gnome lives matter. Gnomes. We had somebody calling up the show about gnomes, if you remember rightly. Remember that? Brian, I think it was. Was it Brian that called up about the gnomes? If I've remembered that from my Rolodex of KBS, then I tell you what, that's quite impressive, folks. Tell you, I'll need to phone up Elon Musk and say, yep, the neural link 1.01, it's working good. I'm not neural linked, folks. Don't start that rumor. You know there's people would believe that, right? Redfern has the MIB stories. Bella, I have had Nick Redfern on the show. Yes, indeed, I have. Myself and Scotty Lopez, and I think Johnny Whistles was there that night as well. One of my favourite shows, and I've reached out to Nick not long ago. Didn't hear anything back, but he's so busy, and he's always travelling, doing conferences and research and writing books. But I promise, folks, I'm going to get Nick Redfern back on. And I want to get Max Egan on in the next couple of days as well, sometime this week. If not for the Kev Baker show, then a special broadcast, a special stream. Because after our show the other day, when we had Dave from Australia calling in about the fires, I've noticed Max Egan now is talking about the fires as well. Of course, Max, Australian himself, obviously. Maybe you don't know him though, but Max Egan, one of the most genuine, well-researched, best-spoken, gets it kind of guys out there. He's the real deal, and I'm going to get him back on to talk about his take on the Australian fires. So yeah, I'm going to reach out, try and get that on. And yeah, Bella, he's always busy. He's been on Ancient Aliens. He's always kicking about on there. You always see Nick kicking about, and Anne, or it'll be Kevin, or maybe sometimes my mum when she's been watching one of these programs. Well, I've seen one of your guests on there. Yeah, he's awesome as Nick Redfern. Big time. Absolutely awesome. So we're going to get Armand in a little moment. We'll just see here if there's anything else I want to get out of the way before we bring Armand in. Because once we get Armand in, we're going to get right deep into the dreams and stuff like that. So hang on now. Yeah, there's one thing I think you probably will enjoy checking out if you like my channel. And it's one of Joe Rogan's latest interviews. And it's not about Joe Rogan, folks. It doesn't matter if you don't like Joe Rogan. I want you to go and listen to this guy here, Paul Stamets. Now, I can't play the clip because Joe's management company, team, whatever, it content matches his voice. You get a third-party strike. That's the way it goes. But Paul Stamets is like the world's leading expert on mushrooms and stuff like that. And that sounds weird, an expert on mushrooms. But you'd have to go and check him out. I urge you to do so. But he tells a story in the video that I've got up on screen here. And I'll paste a link in the description. But we're talking gnomes, we're talking Bigfoot, we're talking cryptids, Sasquatch. How does that tie in with Paul Stamets and mushrooms? Well, Paul tells Joe Rogan about a story. A story which, even to this day, he says he can't explain. And the only way that could explain it is if he travelled in the multiverse. Get that. Now, long story short, his brother had come across a new breed of mushroom, psilocybin, and very hallucinogenic. They went and picked them, as you do, and instead of waiting to dry them out, they worked out how many they would need to, start tripping balls, and they did. So Stamets says that what he witnessed was like something out of the apocalypse. And at the time, it was back, I think, late 70s, early 80s. Reagan, he was doing the rounds. Cold War was still going on. And of course, the talk or threat of some nuclear war was still part of the life at that time. So Stamets goes on his trip and he says what he sees is devastation and hundreds of cows. And Armand, I'll get you in a moment, man. I'll call you in a moment. I've just got a couple things to get out of the way. Hundreds of cows just lying dead. And when he comes back from that trip, they're all talking about it. And he honestly thought what he'd been looking at was some scene from a nuclear detonation. And they tried to put a date on it. They thought it was that real. So a couple of weeks went by, or a period of time went by, and he was staying up in the Pacific Northwest, I believe, up that way anyway. And it was a really cold kind of period, and then it warmed up again, and melting snow, etc. It caused horrendous floods. Long story short, he had to go and get his manuscript out of his cabin. And folks, I'm butchering the story. You still need to hear Stamets telling you because it's awesome. So he goes up and he collects his books, whatever. He gets stranded up there, and then the roads eventually open up again. So when he's driving home after all of this flood water and all the floods that have been happening, etc., he says he turns round this one corner and it's like the sun shining. So it's that kind of red glow, orange glow in the sky. And on either side of him is fields full of dead cows. Right. And that's what he says as well. How do you explain that? Because he literally, while on the psilocybin, the mushrooms, he literally viewed a future event, but misinterpreted it when he came back down, when he was trying to work out what it all meant. But when he seen that scene, that time later, that was exactly where he had been and what he had seen when he had used the mushrooms. So yeah, check out that. Even if you just check out that one clip, the full thing's amazing. Paul Stamets, if you haven't checked him out before, the guy is beyond genius level. Talks about the intelligence of mushrooms and fungi, and it's brilliant stuff. And it's like he says, he doesn't care what people think of him. You know, he'll talk about the multiverse. You know, the science that he's done, it's factual, it's been proven over the years, so he's got nothing to lose. He doesn't care what people think. But yeah, the multiverse, check that out. Let's see what else, if there was anything before I go and get Armand. Yeah, quickly, briefly, this here. Hang on now, I've got one of our... Oh, hang on, I need to go and get this. Hang on, folks, right? Give me a second. Armand, I'll be right with you. You just stand by, brother, but I need to take a quick look at something, and then we'll be back in just a minute, folks. If this pans out to be something good, oh, this is going to be such good woo. Such good woo. Bear with me, folks. Here we go. My word. And Armand, you're in the green room. Don't you worry, brother. I've just got this one story to go over, and then we'll get you in here, and you can tell me what you think of this as well. Oh my, big shout out to Alistair McKenzie. Oh, you always bring it, brother. Hope we're all having fun out there today. Hope you're all looking forward to Armand coming on in the next 3 or 4 minutes, folks. Won't take me long to go over this, but it's worth seeing. And it comes from our intrepid, our you know, absolutely amazing, unthanked, unpaid reporter. Yes, he brings me so many links, and some of them just wow. They absolutely wow me. Myself and Alistair were into so much of the same topics. And just wait till you see what he's found this time. Oh! Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Things are about to get a little bitty weird. Indeed. Not because our man's coming, no. Because of the story that Alistair just sent me a minute ago. Dang, dude. We're talking about the multiverse a little moment ago. How synchronistic. And Paul Stamets and his seeming ability to travel forward in time to view a future event that he then lived out when it came along a week or two later. And from time to time, we have been regaled by tales of time travel. I'm trying to think of the main one that comes. John Teeter. Remember the John Teeter story? All of that stuff? Yep. Famous time traveler from the future. And, of course, I like to make fun of the YouTube channel called Apex TV that have the most fake-ass time travelers in the world. But then there's another aspect to the whole time thing that I find really interesting. And it's when you see famous people only like 100 years ago, maybe in like Civil War photos or back in World War I or maybe even further back than that. Sometimes just paintings. And it's uncanny. It's really uncanny how these seemingly separate individuals, I say seemingly because they're separated by sometimes hundreds of years, but then from time to time, you look at one, you think that is exactly the same person. And there's one of Nicolas Cage, and I'm not telling you it's Nicolas Cage, but I tell you what, there's one of Nicolas Cage way back in time. I'll take a quick look at that first before we get to the latest potential time traveler. And it's a good one, folks. Nicolas Cage time travel picture. That should get it. Images. See that one there? That one always gets me, right? And I get it. It's not identical, but you get what I'm saying, right? So Nicolas Cage. Oh, in fact, no, I've done it again. Boom. There you go. You can see it now. Nicolas Cage, right? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't seen that picture. There's various celebrities that over time you could say, well, damn, it's like a doppelganger, a ringer for them. And we've got another one, thanks to Alistair. Are you ready, folks? Are you ready? If it wasn't bad enough that we had to endure this character in our lifetime, she might have been around before. Oh, I'm only joking. I'm just hyping it up. I'm just trying to build it up. Now I'm going to take a drink of my coffee so build that anticipation a bit more. Are we ready yet? Are we ready? Are we ready to see who the potential time traveler is? There she is, Greta Thunberg, spotted on a 120-year-old photograph. Oh my word. Dang, dude. A photo taken approximately 105 years before Ms. Thunberg's birth has been discovered, featuring a girl bearing an astonishing likeness to the climate campaigner. Is she a time traveler or what? The photograph can be found at the University of Washington's digital collection. Now, she does look very like her, I must admit. Very like her. And of course, I can't definitively prove that it's not her, but dang. Whoa. So it says the girl in the left-hand side of the black and white picture bears an uncanny resemblance to Greta Thunberg. Let's see what this is here. Yeah, it's just showing us the same thing there. So, yeah, what do you think, folks? What do you think? Woo! Again, it probably isn't. It's probably just somebody that looks like her. But damn, it's good woo. And we all love a bit of time traveler woo, right? So I'm going to go turn on the tunes for a moment. I'm going to be joined by Armand. And then we'll spend maybe 20 minutes or so talking about his little dreams that he's been having. And then I'll wrap it up and we'll get ready for another stream later on with the guys. Oh, yes, it doesn't stop here, folks. It's non-stop, in fact. Let's see. What tune can we have this time? Not that one? There we go. We'll have The New Order. Yes, that's the name of this tune, by the way, before you think I'm going all conspiratorial. And I think, anyway, anytime Greta walks into the room, they should play this. The Empress of the Climate. Look at that face, folks. All of you out there sitting watching this right now, you stole her childhood. Armand, you should have heard the music there and thought, you see, we're in a nice little interlude here. But yes, I have been joined by the man himself. Armand is with me. How you doing, Armand?
I'm doing good, brother. Doing very good.
So tell me, my
anyway,
friend, I seen in the chat room earlier on, you were talking about dreams.
It's a particular dream that I've had since I was 5 years old. How it starts is, for some reason, I'm in an apartment block with my mum, my granddad. But the apartment's not the one that we had in Fergusley. This was big, grand, bold. And I hear a chap at the door. So I go up and answer the door, and there's this really beautiful woman standing there. And she says to me, she calls me by name, she calls me by my magical name, which is Armand. She says, I've been trying to get the lady in this flat, but I think she may be injured. Is there any way, do you have a key? And I said, no. Then she said to me, could you climb up the chimney? What? And being a 5-year-old sort of adventure, I thought, okay, I'll give it a try. So we go over to the fireplace and I climb up and I make 3 left turns and I end up in this apartment. And the apartment is the longest corridor I've ever seen. But right down on the left hand side, I can see an alcove, and my attention is drawn to that alcove. Now, over the years, I get a little bit closer, a little bit closer. Then, roughly when I was in my 20s, I saw the face for the first time. And the only words that I can actually describe this is grotesque beauty. I mean, grotesque beauty. It's just something about it. It was just pulling me. And as soon as I started seeing it, the dream would end. And several years will go by, and then I'll have the dream again. And each time I get closer and closer and closer. Well, 2 years ago, if you can cast back, I had quite a nasty accident. And it was due to the dream it did this. Again, I opened up the door. There's this beautiful woman. But the thing is, the woman in this dream gets older each time. Like she's in her 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Now, the last time I saw her, she was in her 70s, but still had that beauty, like beautiful blue eyes. And again, and I'm viewing the dream. I know I'm in the dream. I know what I'm going to see. I know all the turns. And then 2 years ago, I was right close up to the actual statue. I could see the face. I could see all the lines in the eyes. It actually looked real. It didn't look like a statue. It was like black obsidian. And I'm looking at it and I'm getting drawn into it. And I just like, it was like Babylon. The only words I could think of, Babylon, something to do with Babylon. And I could feel like I was trying to rip my heart out and offer it to this statue. And as I'm clasping my chest, Kev, this voice says, what are you doing here? And I look up and there are these 2 people. They look like security guards, but I didn't see any badges. But their eyes were as black as coal. And I wake up and I woke up to a really, really bad heart attack. You hear me, Kev?
Yeah, I'm listening. Yeah, I've got your.
Right.
Actually, on the
So,
screen, we're watching you grooming the lion. We've got you and the dog on the screen while we're
oh,
while we're
thanks, Kev.
listening to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wake up from that, and it's exactly 6:03, which is 333. It's always these triplicate numbers with me. You know the 111 thing.
Yep.
And I don't know why, Kev. I sat on my bed for nearly 3 hours, having a heart attack. I couldn't phone an ambulance. I just sat there. I mean, with monoculture training, I was able to meditate and try and quieten it down. And instead of getting an ambulance to the hospital, I put my dog's jacket on. As you see some of the videos, Oberon's got a jacket I can take him into a hospital and council buildings with. And I remember saying to the guy, because this was a strange thing. The day before, I went to my surgery to get my medication, and the nurse called me, Armand, you've got to go for this tomorrow. That was the night before. That was the night that I had it. I was to go for an ECG. So I went to the hospital, and by the way, I can document all this. I've got all the documents still. But I went to the hospital, and I was still having a heart attack. It wasn't as bad as what it first was. And I said to the guy, and I was smiling at him, and I said, "Oh, by the way, I'm having a heart attack." And he just laughed. He says, "That's not funny." I says, "I'm not laughing." I says, "I'm having a heart attack." He goes, "Don't be silly." And I said, "We'll see." As soon as he did the ECG, he just like, "I'll be back in a moment." Two doctors were in. They says, "Right, we're taking you straight in." And that's when I ended up, which I call the 12 apostles. I have 12 stents around my heart,
Got you.
keeping it going. And one thing that I realised out of all these dreams, there's one film, it triggers the dreams. And that's a Kenneth Anger film called Lucifer Rising.
Now Kenneth Anger. Now he's a bit of a character.
I do like him. I think he's a bit your showman, but he's very serious about magic. And all his films are to do with magic, particularly Lucifer Rising. It's none of the no homo stuff in this. I mean, they're good looking guys, but there's also very good looking women like Jimmy Page, Marianne Faithfull, and who do you call him?
Because Kenneth
Mick
Anger, I
Jagger.
mean, was he not like some kind of almost disciple of Crowley?
He was and still is. But also, one of the things that it triggers it is when I was 5, the first time I met the man in the wall, he used to come to me at night. It's just like you would class it as a child's, what do you call it, a child's secret friend. He would come to me and he would take me through the wall and he'd take me for walks. And one of the times he says, "Look at that, look at that." And I looked at this table. I had a black drape on it. I had a red dagger, which I realised is anathema. But I had this really particular statue with lights of feathers on it. And when I left Scotland to come and do my nurse training in England, and I met Jacqueline, George Pettingill's great granddaughter, I was in. I used to go to the British Museum all the time. I love the British Museum. I love going there really in the morning because you really feel the energies. But I always used to go to this bookshop called Atlantis Bookshop. It's very famous for all occultists. But one day I saw Kenneth Anger's video in there, Lucifer Rising, and I just something drew me to it. But I couldn't afford the 50 quid, so I just waited. Every time I went in, I checked. And one of the times it came down to the price, like 25 quid. That was for a VHS tape. So I took the tape and I went home and I watched it. And straight away I realised that the guy it showed me when I was 5 years old was actually in the film. I'll
Whoa.
do a screen grab of it. It's the exact same thing that I remember. And what's led up to the heart attack was I binge watched that video on YouTube about 40 times. And I'm a bit frightened, Kev, because I started binge watching them again.
Oh no, I don't think that's a good idea, dude.
I know, it always triggers it. It triggers the dream, but I just can't stop it.
Now,
I
is
get
that
so
because of
wrapped
is
up
it
in it.
because of the symbology in it?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people see his films because his films are silent. It's visual. It's pure and utter visual. And I pick out things out of it all the time, all the time. I know what he's doing by the right of Lucifer. I know what he's trying to invoke.
Dang, dude,
And
you
I
you
think,
definitely need to get out of the whole kind of pattern of watching that again. Then I only say that because I don't want you to end up the same way as you did the last time, Armand.
I know, but that's the thing, Kev. Once it starts, I can't stop. I see you got in the pictures there. I'm trying to see if I can see the picture itself. If not, I know I've got it on my computer somewhere. Keep going.
Keep going.
That's Isis, Osiris. It's
So, do you think? I mean, if this film's triggering you, and you've got a background in the occult, maybe people don't really appreciate that. I mean,
yeah.
it's going to be triggering more people, right? It's not just going to be you, Armand.
I think I've never met anybody. It's had that type of symbolism. I mean, I've looked at all the comments on the actual Lucifer Rising, but I was looking for things in there, and people just sort of like saying avant-garde. It's all that stuff. Type in Lucifer Rising table knife.
On YouTube or on Google?
Well, do it in Google. Lucifer Rising, the red dagger. That's exactly what I saw, and that's I think I don't know if it's just me, but it does trigger me. And like I said, I started binge watching it again. And I've been trying to get myself out because we've had such bad weather in
Well,
Sussex for the
see if
past
that's
month.
see what I'm going to do. See if just thinking about it there. If this is triggering people, I'm not going to show the screenshots on screen, Armand. If you
Okay, brother.
do you accept? Do you see why I'm doing that though? Just in case it is actually.
It's something, it might trigger somebody
Yeah,
else, yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Because we know that symbols, and you can explain this to the audience better than I can. But whether people appreciate it or not, there's great power held in symbols, in colours, and how things
Yeah.
are arranged on the screen, isn't there?
Yeah. It's all symbolic. It's all symbolic, kid. Yeah.
So you're having this same dream now that you were having as a child?
Yeah. The only thing that's changed is I'm always still the 5-year-old boy. But the woman's important, but I don't know how important. I remember when I was like in my teenage years and I saw her and I just wanted to hump her. And it was like she could read my mind.
You toxic male.
I know, just toxic. And I was married to a beautiful woman as well, but I still wanted her.
So was this some kind of incubus, succubus type character?
No, I think it's much darker than that. Kid.
Lilith?
The thing is that the black obsidian face. I mean, where do you get grotesque beauty from? It was grotesque, Kev. It would make you puke, but there was such a beauty to it as well. And the eyes just drew me in, and that's when I noticed that there was wrinkles around the eyes. It wasn't. I mean, it would be done something like Michelangelo would have done something like that. Yeah. If you've ever been to the Vatican and you've seen the Passion of Christ, and you look at the statues, they have so much strength just in the visual alone. And this was the exact same thing, but it felt darker. But I wasn't afraid of it. I got startled out of my viewing, which with these two people coming in is new. I've never saw them before, and I've never saw pure black eyes. I mean, there was no white. There was no life in them. You could have just been drawn into them.
So we're
But
talking
that's
about
when I snapped out of it.
black-eyed people?
Black-eyed people, but they were wearing uniforms. I don't know if they were police or they were security. The building itself was very grand. It was beautiful. I mean, the corridors were lined in marble. like a temple, but people stayed there. There was numbers on the doors to each and every different type of apartment. And I wonder what the next stage of this is.
Well, I
Yeah, I
think
mean,
I
I
think the
don't
next
shrink
stage
away
for
for it.
you,
I might have had a heart attack,
I
but
think the next stage for you is to stop watching Lucifer Rising, dude.
I it's not, my whole life's just been just inquisitive, Kev. I mean, I'm not one of these people who goes and ghost hunts with groups. I go by myself. I went to Highgate.
Well, that's what I was
I
going to
had
ask you
to
about
deal.
there. I was going to ask you about that, right? Because the Highgate vampire.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that before we wrap up
Right.
the
The
stream.
Highgate vampire was basically a psychic vampire. It was draining people's energy. It was somebody that learned to cheat death, to learn to not to move over. It had enough occult knowledge to siphon off of people's energy. And unfortunately, well, God rest his soul, Mr. Farah's dead now. But he was partly responsible for the magical workings in that place. And when I moved to England, and I says I knew a lot of the witch covens, and I heard from one of the London ones that says there's something really nasty going on in Highgate. So in order to find out, I found out the main movers. There was Sean Manchester, Bishop Manchester, as he likes to call himself, but he's not really a Catholic bishop, but he still plays a part. David Farrar's dead now, but David Farrar was very much into like dark occult stuff. He was always sort of living light, but actually he was in North London. Only the dark groups are in North London, and that took a lot of cleaning, a lot of energy because in Highgate's one of the few cemeteries in London and then actually in the UK that has a proper witches' corner. We look after our own, and they were unsettled because what we were not wanting to happen is people going to start doing black magic rites in the witches part of the cemetery. That would just be disastrous.
Well, that's what's
Yeah.
happening up at Boleskine House. They're doing things where that was all set up before, you know.
Yeah, but the thing is who came after Jimmy Page? Jimmy Page had a chance to clean that place, but he didn't clean it, which means there must have been other magic. See, the thing with magic, Kev, is it has a signature, and you have to find the signature. Hence why I went after David Farrell. So I knew exactly what magic he was using there, so it could be counteracted. I mean, this David Farrell was actually sticking stakes in bodies. That's how mad he
Whoa.
was. I mean, he actually did time for it. Yeah. But they used magic and that to get him out of prison early and stuff. And for the rest of his life, he just kept denying. But I remember it. I remember it in the, what was it, mid 80s when it was getting really bad again. Because it sort of died down because Peter Underwood, who was in the Ghost Society, says he trapped a vampire in one of the things. No, you don't trap vampires. Vampires can move anywhere they want. Yeah. Because they've denied, they haven't moved on. It's like these people go into residual hauntings where there's a nasty spirit. That nasty spirit's based there, but people with proper occult knowledge, space is no limit. Look at Doctor Sleep. If you ever read Doctor Sleep, you'll realize that these people are actually not living, but they're constantly moving. Yeah?
Yeah, I'm just looking at screenshots here, and I mean, we've got an old newspaper. And I was going to ask you, right, because I don't know London very well, but
Oh,
when
yeah.
you said it's a quite an occult area, I was going to say, is it anywhere near Hampstead? And now I'm looking at a newspaper called the Hampstead and Highgate Express, so I
Yeah,
imagine they
they're
are
all
quite
one of the
close.
same place. There's a lot of magic goes on there. There's a lot of covens,
And
but
I mean, what
particularly
year
the
would this have
dark
been?
ones.
What year would this have been? I mean, this is like, when was this character going around,
Right.
this Farrant guy?
The vampire thing was late 60s, 68, 69, then the 70s, and then it just started to build up and build up and build up. And I was already having my coven training back in Scotland with Gloria. And I ended up, I said to her, I can't stay in Scotland anymore. One, I couldn't get a job, Kev. I came out of the army completely disillusioned. I mean, I learned maybe within a year that I realised I wouldn't serve a queen. I hated the queen, I hated the family. But I says, I want to go to England. And the girl, Maria, was supposed to be my partner in the crowd. She says, I know somebody who would really like you. I says, oh, who's that? He says, I'll introduce you. So I went down and met Jacqueline, which is really hit it off. Then Jacqueline introduced me to all the other covens and the Gerald Gardners, the Alexandrians, and I went and I found the Thelema,
Yep.
and I started studying all this stuff, studying all the books.
And you've got
And
Thelema, which is going to be taught again up at Crowley's Gaff, right? And listening to you talking here, how big or how popular is the magic scene in the UK? I know that's a weird thing to kind of ask, but I mean,
it's growing every day, Kev.
yeah, that's what was kind of maybe.
And Thelema's growing every day as well. Because people start, yeah, I mean, this was like I was saying the last time. People see Thelema, they see Crowley, but ones that are proper Thelemic don't see Crowley in the light that most other people do. They realise he was a bit of a pervert, but then who isn't these days? Somebody can do a baby shower, fart and blue powder, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Even Crowley would say, well, what the fuck? Sorry about that, brother. Sorry
No,
about
no,
that.
no. I mean, we're not on radio right now, and
Right.
YouTube. Thankfully, YouTube are a bit more lenient when it comes to f bombs, and it's not
I know.
it's not TFR that censors the bad language. It's the FCC. It's because it goes out on iHeart and
Yeah,
TalkStream.
it goes to
Yeah,
children as well. I know a lot of kids.
well, no,
listening
no,
and stuff like that.
no. I want to categorically state right now: this video, any of my material that I do, this is not suitable or aimed at children.
Absolutely.
Now, I have to say that because of the new YouTube rules as well, because
Yeah, and saying
it's
that,
crazy.
Kev, I've been to rituals in Thelema where there have been children.
Yep, I can imagine. Oh, I
And
can imagine,
children,
dude.
the amount of energy. I could see why all these dark sods want to get a hold of
So-
kids. The amount of energy from them is absolutely amazing.
Now, when we look at
But-
the main symbol of Thelema, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're used to seeing like the satanic inverted pentagram stuff like that, but what's going on with this symbol here? Can you?
Which one?
Well, let's go for just this one here, just the basic Thelema, that one there. What's this about? It calls it the unicursal hexagram.
It's basically if take a ruler to it, measure out every line, and you've got that one's actually wrong because it's got the rose in the wrong position. This is basically your magic circle. This is basically all your workings, all your god names, and also it's a very good focal point for meditation. A lot of people will actually meditate upon that symbol alone. It's basically the same thing as the Star of David, but only it's got more lines in it, more is added to it. It also represents the tree of life. Like you got your top point, your bottom point, straight down, and also this can be worked into a four-dimensional tree of life if it's laid flat and built upon.
Wow.
The foundations of magic. Foundations.
No, I really appreciate you sharing this kind of stuff because to the untrained eye, you're just looking at a symbol, you know?
Yeah.
So would you
There's
say when you
more,
see
more,
that,
more.
when you see that, would you say, oh, that's an inherently like evil or bad symbol?
I don't think magic's not about evil or good, Kev. It's about your intention. When they talk about sacrifice, when we talk about sacrifice, the sacrifice is the self, not another body and siphoning the energy from them. The energy has to come from you. That's why people say, "Oh, I sacrificed the cat." my God, I'll just cut your hands off for doing that because I wouldn't sacrifice any animal. I'm vegetarian. The only person who eats meat in this house is a dog.
And he eats meat every Monday. That dog eats better than I do, dude.
Yeah, he gets steak Monday,
Well, I tell you
but
what,
he's
man.
worth it.
I mean, these dreams you're having. I mean, what do
Hmm.
you think it means?
I'm like it means I'm coming to the end of my life, Kev.
I hope not, dude. I really hope not.
Kev, that's one thing. When I had my first heart attack, I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want to scare them. But actually, I remember laying in the bed and I was in intensive care. And I remember all of a sudden I was walking and I looked over at the nurses, and all the nurses were playing cards and the doctors. And I looked at them and I was walking around and I seen this nurse had really crappy hand, but this doctor had a really good hand. And he had three kings and two aces. And she had, I can't really remember, I just remember his things. But one thing I noticed between the two of these two that had the cards is there was a silver cord between the two of them, right at where the mind's eye is. And she started to fold. She says, "Oh, I fold. I haven't got enough money." He says, "All right." I says, "I." He says, "I have a really shitty hand anyway." And she won the money. He let her win the money. And then I heard the dee. And what I didn't realise that was my heart monitor going off saying that my heart stopped. So it was a crash situation. So I remember them running over to my bed and the paddles were out straight away, straight on 360 volts, bang. I didn't feel anything in the body, Kev. I felt it, what was standing out, and it was so frigging painful. And he did it another two times. There's the number three again. And I came back, and for some reason, I was sort of like bolted right out of it. My eyes were wide open. I was like, that. And I looked at the doctor and I says, "Why did you fold?" He goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You had three kings and two aces." And then he says, they all looked at each other and he's like, I seen it through him. A couple of days later, he comes to me and I'm getting ready to be moved down to a different ward. And he goes, "Do you know, Alan?" He says, "That is the first time I've heard somebody say that. I've heard other people say stuff like that to me, but never believed it until it happened." Only thing is I was probably binge watching that damn film back then as well.
Oh, I'm no expert, but A, I say stop watching the film, and B, we've got a couple of people in the chat room that are
Hmm.
saying something about a piggyback that's been put on you. Does that make any sense to you?
It could be, yeah. I've got an attachment, Kev, but the attachment's attached to me. It can't get away.
Good or
That was
bad?
one of the things I took on. How would say it? I mean, I don't know how far down the rabbit hole you want to go, but
Right
it's
down
a
the
really
rabbit
weird.
hole, man. Right down the rabbit hole, but just don't get gross or offensive
Oh
or
no, 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 not
or
gross or
trick or like
offensive.
yeah.
No, yeah. When I was in my thalamic part, I made a deal, made a deal with a demon, and the demon was quite sexual, and I was quite virulent, and I did have a lot of partners, and that's how it got its substance. But then through time, I realised actually I don't want this. Then I realised that this attachment was doing things about the house, and every now and then I have to reel the damn thing back in again. But then I started to talk to it. Yeah, I mean, I believe in the Quran when they say the jinn can be redeemed, just like my attachment can be redeemed. But it's perseverance, it's talking, and things like the Lucifer Rising puts me in that mindset. It makes me think. It makes me think in numbers, symbols, And then I start speaking to it. And then once it says, "You are the fall, all of you, all humans are the fall. What's inside you is your true being." Now, if you look at Aboriginal culture, there was a time they talked about there was no moon.
Yep.
When that moon was drawn into our solar system, into our little pocket of the galaxy, that was the fall of man. That's when we keep coming back, we keep revolving. Like that thing we with Greta and all these other people, that was them 100 years ago. Imagine what it's like now, Kev. Everybody's got cameras.
Yep.
In 100 years' time, they're going to say, "Oh, that looks like me. That looks like me." Right? And people will be doing things. Find your face from 100 years ago, because we are so wrapped up in technology, and technology is a magical weapon. It's called a wand. Think about it. All tablets are long, maybe thin, not as thin as like a stick, like a Hollywood or anything like that. But your phone is a wand. You can conjure up anything on it. I was looking at a video a couple of days ago there about Tibetan, and they're actually showing you how to actually open up portals just using your voice. Now, I've always known this to be a fact anyway. Anybody can open up a portal. You just have to know the keys. And I get the keys from Lucifer Rising. It's the music, like I said, there's no talking, it's sound. Sound
Is
and
this like the
visual.
same as the Enochian keys that John Dee was after back in the day?
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Everything has a vibration. If you get somebody that's got like a didgeridoo, if somebody's got a didgeridoo, pick it up, aim one end of the didgeridoo at your computer screen, and at the other end, blow. Make it sound, and see what happens to your computer screen. And that's just sound waves. Yeah.
Yep.
So everything's relative. It's just yeah,
I mean, everything in the universe is vibration, folks. Absolutely everything's vibrating. Um,
vibration, resonance,
yep.
and sound.
Yep. Your quantum particles that are all spinning, vibrating, the strings. If you go into string theory, it's everything. And Arman's writing, you look at the Tibetan kind of knowledge and stuff that they've used in the past, and you can see that they've used acoustics for levitating massive stones up the side of mountains, things like this. So they are absolutely the acoustical masters. And I definitely think, Armand, I think, I can't know because I haven't got the knowledge, but I'm with you. I absolutely believe people can open portals if you just know that sweet note, that right tone. It's like
Yeah.
the big kind of the lovely chapels that you see, these big, huge chapels all across Europe and over here as well. And when people would sing in them, they
It's about
literally
for
would.
resonance.
They would literally have a religious experience. That's why
Yeah.
people would be moved, because that architecture, I mean, the knowledge that the Masons had that were putting that together, it was able to redirect and focus sound and get that harmonic. It's all about harmonics. I'm sure you would agree with that, Armand.
Yeah.
And of course,
Yeah.
then they came along, and I'm not sure if it was the bad guys in World War II or somebody else. But say it was them, they were very much over in the Himalayas looking for ancient knowledge, artifacts. And they also, it might not be them, I might be wrong here, but I'm sure they were the ones that changed the frequency that most music and most vibration comes out at.
Yeah. I remember actually, Kev, when me and Jacqueline, we went all over the world together. We went up the pyramids and everything. But one place in particular that really resonated with me was the Aegeum, which is in Italy. It's where they used to do what do you call it? It's in a cave system, and the acoustics are
Is it not
absolute.
Malta, the Hypogeum?
No, no, it's in Italy. I've got the place wrong. It, it's near the Theatre of Apollo. It's where people used to go and get fortunes read, and they would go into this room, and the spirit of Athena would speak to the people. But do you remember that song from Stanley Kubrick's film where they're all standing around in a circle? It's like they're wearing all the masks, and there's that boom, boom, boom,
Yep.
boom, boom, boom. First time I ever heard that tune, I absolutely loved it because I loved the resonance of it. So I learned it, and basically what it is the Black Mass. The guy is singing the Black Mass. It's the I think it's Psalms in reverse, and I learned the words. So I went into this place in Italy, and it's where they used to do the fortunes. People come and get the fortunes done. I can't remember. I'll look it up and I'll put it in disco. But I was in there and there was a quite a group of us, and I just started like that. I started slapping my leg now, making the tone, and it started doing the actual singing. And Kev, within 30 seconds, the place was empty. The sound just reverberated round the place. It just hit them. And I took a video of it. And guess what happened to the video? Burst into flames. I came across something that I shouldn't have done. That's what sometimes the powers that be that are watching us say, no, you can't have that. But if I ever get the money and if Kenneth Finger doesn't kill me by the time I get a chance to get back over there, I'm going to go over there with something else in mind. Like I says, I'm just natural curious person. I just love going places. But yeah,
You're like our real life wizard, dude. We need to look after you.
well, that's what I've got a big pointy beard for.
I love your beard. Your beard's rocking it, man. So do you think like people might be doing magic against you right now?
I think they'd be very stupid. One thing, I may be weak in body, but I'm certainly not weak in mind. And plus, I've got my attachment, who I'm talking to. I don't think I'll turn it away, but he's bound to me now, which means my next life, he'll come back.
So this
And I'll be back.
attachment, can you? I mean, what would your attachment? Have you ever asked your attachment about this dream that you're having?
It won't answer. It won't answer you like, not interested. He's only interested in other things. And but he gives me pointers because when that film burst into flames, he says you weren't supposed to do that. It was a desecration. Apparently, I desecrated
Now,
a
so that
devil's side by taking the black.
now I
Right,
don't know if you
I'll
want to
think about
share
it
this
now.
or not, but I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I've heard all demons have names. So what would be the name of this one you have?
I can't tell you. That's one of
Damn.
my reasons that I have to. He abides by my rules, but I have to abide by his. He doesn't like to be named. I know who he is,
Whoa.
and that's why I can. That's why. I mean, it took me maybe 20, 30 years to get his name. But once you get the name, you've got power.
And have you seen? I mean, do you see
I
this?
see him. Yeah, I see him.
And what?
I
I
do.
mean, is it human form? Is it reptilian?
It's. I suppose if you look at the Quran, smokeless fire.
The
Smokeless.
absolutely the jinn.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of these things are jinn. I think. I mean, if you look at Clyde, thanks for introducing me to Clyde Lewis. That guy is awesome.
Oh, dude, listen. Why do you think I always pay homage to Clyde? He is like one of my biggest inspirations. And if
Yeah,
one day I could be 1% as good and as big as Clyde Lewis, we've knocked it all off, folks, because I'll be laughing. And all of you out there will be laughing because if you get 1% as good as Clyde, the information is going to be mind blowing. So what was he saying about all of this, dude?
well, he was talking about the Aramaic vampires. My name's Armand. Armand spelled in many different ways, but Araman is a main demon supposedly Lucifer, the devil. Everything's connected.
Well, yeah, the chat room are all definitely quite happy that you're not naming this entity. And Armand, I could probably talk to you from now until when the main stream starts later on, right? But I need to get fed, and we're at our 2 hour
Yeah.
limit here. And listen, dude,
Yeah.
on behalf of me and everyone in the chat room, you're like crazy cricket out there. You're like just a guy. You're one of the kind of stalwarts. You're one of the names that everyone recognizes. And please, please, dude, and I know it might be hard, but even just to kind of allay our fears at home, try and stop watching that damn Kenneth Anger thing. Try and stop that, dude. Try and cut that bit of the cycle.
Reasons, over the past couple of weeks, I've been doing moderation on now Frosty's site, the chat room and stuff, and I'm learning a lot of things about modding, so that when I come here, I can mod properly, introduce people, and welcome.
And you're
people
also
stuff.
over on
It's all about keep myself active.
Yeah, and we're
But
well.
whether
I
I
tell
can
you what,
break-
Armand.
whether I can break, I've never been able to break the spell. Also, my attachment helps me. It says, look, keep watching, watch. I mean, I'm not schizophrenic. I'm an ex-psychiatric
Oh,
nurse.
dude,
so I know when I'm not
listen. I've known
bonkers.
you long enough. I wouldn't have you coming on here to blow smoke up people's bums if I thought that this was some kind of a delusion that's only taking part in some broken corner of your mind. I know about you, Armand.
Yeah.
We've shared a lot of messages. You've been on the show. I know the backstory. And that's why, I mean, obviously, I'm not a trained shrink. I can't diagnose you on air. Even the Kev Baker show can't do that. But the reason I bring this up is, folks, because I wouldn't just bring somebody on, especially nowadays, the way that I'm really, really critical and I really scrutinize things to the point where maybe, I don't take enough chances, but I don't feel like I'm taking any chance with Armand. And because of the topics we cover on here, and because of Scott Lopez right now, he's doing a show. He's just finished co-hosting with Christopher Everard. And Christopher, he names and goes into all these demons and the demonology. And like you said, Armand, everything does link together. Absolutely links together. So I'm glad I could put you on to Clyde Lewis, because Clyde is just an absolute dream. I love him to bits. Some of the shows I love more than others, but that's natural. And of course, I've been on there a couple of times. That's one of my claims to radio fame. But yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying that. Cut out the Kenneth Anger. And there's going to be a lot more streams happening here. So we'll keep you busy here. We'll definitely get you in for one of the late night weekend streams as well.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I think we'll probably need to put the 18 plus on that one, though. And we'll get into some real kind of unheard stuff when it comes to the magic. But, dude, you look after yourself. Give that dog a big hug from me. And
I will, brother.
When you're in the chat room, remember to drop the link for your channel in there. I was showing people your channel earlier on. I'll drop the link again right now.
Thank you.
But, yeah, if you've got a dog, folks, Armand is definitely a channel, because the things he can teach you about grooming and feeding and everything else, just look at his dog. It's a picture of health. Speaks for itself. Wouldn't call him the dog whisperer. After today's show, I know it's quite kind of insensitive and sensational, but maybe the demon whisperer would be better for you, Armand. And us being Scottish, I say that with humour and not to be insensitive.
Yeah, the thing is, so many people are saying in there and revoking the name of Jesus. I do believe in Jesus. But what people need to realise is I made a pact. You can't break the pact. The pact is lifelong, not just in this life, but the next and the next and the next. Because I don't want to keep coming back to this big dirtball planet. I want to evolve. I want to go to the stars. That's what it's all about, Kev.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right, brother. And you're getting a lot of love from in there. Now, I'm going to let you go just now, Armand. I'm going to wrap it up.
Brother.
And thank you so much. You've totally...
You're most welcome.
Even the members-only chat stream, somebody comes in and steals the show. Well, I tell you, Armand, I need to stop bringing you people in here. But you take care, brother.
You need to keep bringing us in. It's all about knowledge at the end of the day, Kev. And don't put yourself down, brother. You are fucking awesome.
Oh, you're awesome as well. And I'll let you go, big man. Arman,
Right, I'll
thank you
see you
so
later,
much.
brother.
See you later. And yeah, that's the best way to finish today's member-only stream, or at least member-only chat. And I hope all of you out there really appreciate Armand coming on and opening up like that. It's not easy, you know, being so frank and being so honest like Armand done there, but it's all about that knowledge. And we're all here together, and especially in the VIP lounge, we all go that bit further than being just a channel. You're not just avatars and names to me. I really do feel like I know some of you more than others, but over time, we're all going to form these closer bonds, and we'll get wiser along the way. We're never going to change the world to what we want it to be, but remember, we can change the world for people around us, and that in itself, if we get enough people doing that, then maybe, just maybe, you never know. So thank you to everyone that was here today. Remember, I'll be back in 3 hours with the guys. We'll be getting into paranormal woo tonight. We're going full paranormal. We'll go deep paranormal. I've got serial killing goblins from Africa. That's the kind of abnormal, paranormal, subnormal, crazy woo that we've got lined up for you later. We'll also be checking in on Rudolph, the tall white alien. And yes, I know some people say, oh, Kev, that's wrong, you making fun of that guy. I don't make fun of that guy. I find his channel entertaining. Some of the stuff, yes, I laugh. But thanks to Kinger, one of our mods in the chat room, King Sweet, he's been reaching out to Rudolph, the tall white alien, and Rudolph replied with love hearts when he found out he'd been on the Kev Baker Show stream. So I think we'll be checking in with Rudolph, and hopefully one day soon, we might even get Rudolph, the tall white alien, on the Kev Baker safe space. Who knows? Who knows? But Bella, we also had, who else was it today? Oh, I should remember the name. Let's see if I can remember the name. Hang on now. Jamie, another new member. Yes, 2 new members today. We had Mama Shaibul upgrading our membership. So I want to thank all of you for that. That was fantastic. There's no expectations of anything. This is my stream to give back to you. But to get a couple of new members, one upgrading along the way, absolutely fantastic. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've got a lot of stuff that we didn't get into that I had lined up for today, but I think it was really good that we brought Armand in. I really enjoyed that. Really, really enjoyed it. And again, these people that steal my thunder, I don't know. I'm going to have to start doing something about this, you know. I'm going to have to rethink this, opening the phones and giving this show over to you, you know. Maybe we should call it the used to be Kev Baker Show. I'm only joking, folks. Keep looking for the woo, keep the mind open, but not to the point where the brain turns to black goo. I'll be back later to see all of you. And remember, if you want to see the change in the world, go and look in the mirror, because like Harman said to me, you are awesome. Wait a minute. Is it War's birthday? If it is, happy birthday, War. If it isn't, happy birthday, War.